All right. We got the Trailblazer SS out the house garage. Been here a couple weeks. We got when there to be ran. We're gonna relocate the upper control arms. We got different control arms to put on it. Upper control arm is on the outside of the frame. Lower control arm is on the bottom of the frame. Height-wise, we're good. The back springs are heated and clamped and all kinds of shit. But we're putting coilovers in it. Coilovers in the back. We do a setup underneath there. They got the trans cooler mounted all the way back here where the spare tire goes, so I'm probably gonna have to move that. Put some braces across the frame in there. Figure out the anti-roll. Right now, with that wheel sticking out, it's 4.5 inches of narrow is what we need for that wheel to sit under. It's a 26 by 9, so it's only 10 overall. So that's good. Yeah, the way the stock shock is set up. Once I get up there, I'll show you guys all that. It's a 5-lug conversion. There's no adapters, but this is a set of axles. They changed from 6 to 5. The rotors are re-drilled, stuff like that, but it's got bare brakes going on it. But yeah, the shock being on the outside of the frame right there, we don't care about. We already took the anti-roll off the back, or the stock sway bar. Took that stuff off, set it a couple weeks ago to put the wheels on to see what all needed to be done. But I haven't been able to look at everything until I get it up on the lift. Finished up the Hearst that got picked up the other day. Moved the 442, moved it around. I'm gonna get it up on jack stands. That leather, because of the T-top car, that leather, I know I've said it before, protects the glass from all the sparks and shit like that. So we don't need the glass getting the little chips in it. When you're grinding, the grind sparks will hit the glass and it puts little burns in the glass. So you guys gotta watch that. I know I see a lot of stuff going on, a lot of shops, and you be seeing them grinding, somebody in the background grinding. You see the grinding flying against windows and cars and shit. Anyways, yeah, turn that around. That's got that killer ass stand sound right there for y'all, doesn't it? Oh yeah. But yeah, the SS. But because my lights are on in the garage and that truck just went by like that, the neighbor that I said is back here, the cops will probably show up and they'll call and say that they're over there doing burnouts, and they'll say the silver Trailblazer. Shit like that. Anyways, always a Karen somewhere. But they ain't Karen though. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, SS. It's got a LS in it. It's obviously got turbo and shit like that. Not for me to show, so if I did show it before, I don't know. But not my business. Put it on charge, trickle charge for the last couple days so the battery would recover some. Fired it up yesterday or the day before, reached in there and fired right up. But the other day when it was cold, it didn't want to start, but the battery. So started it up today, had it run for a little bit until it idled down, all that, and then out the house garage, turned around in front of the driveway, idled it down here, no sense in hitting the gas, none of that shit. He said the motor's not tuned and it might be out of gas, this and that. Okay, cool. I ain't beating on it. I am not beating on it. I cannot afford it. Dude with the Cutlass was like, hey, I want to know if it does burnouts. I want to do burnouts. I want to do burnouts and hole shots and this and that. So we did it. And it was out of gas. We had put some 87 octane in it. My lawnmower jug, the pink jug over there, it had some 87 in it. So we had put that in it, and you could hear it, and the car wasn't coming as live as it was before. But anyway, still was getting it. But yeah, so let me get this thing up in the air. We blew out the shop today. Oh God, I'm always fucking shit up. Trying to get a good side. Fumes this day. But anyways, my compressor took a shit the other day. The little valve behind here broke. This is leaking. This is broke. I got it to stay somewhat together, but it'd be leaking. Oh, it hasn't leaked too much. It's got a hole on the bottom of it. Being out here in the cold, freezing up shit. But anyways, yeah, 26's Trailblazer SS, narrow. As of right now, it doesn't look like it needs a notch because it's got plenty of travel right there. These trucks anyways, the wheel well is basically flat across inside here, so you really can't, tuck it unless you tub it and this and that, and it ain't here for all that. Get this wheel to fit up underneath of it. I'll get it up underneath there. As for narrowing the puck, I do have a puck that fits the housing end, so that housing end goes back on it. The bare brakes, it's got massive control arms going on it. The box is all over there on the bench. But yeah, these are vat wheels, Yeah. Figure out what they did to the front. I haven't had the front brakes off it yet. But probably just re-drilled it, took the stock hub, had it re-drilled. Which you got what is it, from the 6 lug, 5 lug, one hole has got to be plugged, and then you got to drill through half that hole. Any machine shop, that has bridge ports and drill presses and lathes and shit like that, they can do that stuff. And you'd want to buy brand new hubs to do it too if you needed to. Why this was changed to 5 lug, I don't know. I think he said he bought it like this. So maybe, obviously, it was changed to a 5 lug to put the vat wheels on it. But yeah, all right, let me get it up in the air and maybe get a little more footage. But yeah, the front, the spring is completely heated, I think. And the upper control arm is angled in nasty, so it's cambered nasty. So we got a set of, BMR upper control arms. I think that's what they are, BMR. Like I said, they're in the boxes behind me. To put those on the top, and then obviously I already put a coilover setup in the front of my Trailblazer, so I know how to set up the front. We already got the springs and the coilovers and the brackets, so I should be able to get the front done, get the wheels on the front, see where the front's gonna set. Again, they cut out the wheel wells and shit like that for as low as they have it. That side's cut out because the turbo pipe and exhaust is all down that side. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that know this truck, so we'll figure it out. All right, y'all, I'm just gonna keep yapping. But yeah, I'm gonna be able to do some work to the Cutlass. So what I'm gonna do back here, and good lord, I was showing before the frame, how it was done. The frame notch, just barely welded in. The side's even worse. So this is the frame setup that came out of that other car. So I'm gonna re-notch it all, square it all up, brace the shit out of it. This is just stilted at that height. That's why it's stiff. It's just to get the car rollable, get it out here. Anyways, let's keep this about. This is Trailblazer. Bet it up. I'll be back. I'll have this thing in the air. I have to take my stills off, get it up in the air. Or the back ones might stay on there because how the frame kicks up. But the front's got to come off to go up underneath here. Let's see, are those do I have 2 sets or only have 1 set? Oh yeah, this lift only came with 1 set. All right, y'all. Let it up. Let me get on it. SS. Alright. We back on it. We back on it. So let's go to the back here. Let's talk about some business. Alright. So this is not the caliper staying on here, but you can see how far back this caliper is. So it gets into play of all this. Narrowing the 4.5 inches, which is fine. It's going to clear. The caliper clears. The bare caliper clears the rim. This sensor is in the way, meaning I want to clock caliper area down. I'll put the end back on to clock it down. That would raise this up here. Well, I need to cut this mount off. I need to make it lower because we're going to be close to the frame. Might have to do a little C-notch to the frame here to make the upper closer. I'm trying to get a better angle for you guys. I got the shock still in here. Let's go back over here. All right, so there's only just about enough room there, but I can, once I narrow it, I can mount this back over here some. I got rid of the e-brake shit on the other side. I got the other side part. Got the axle off that side. But it's got double adjustable uppers, massive. I know I'm gonna jump all over the place with this. As you can see, it already has a set of axles in it. Y'all's 9 inches ain't got shit on that. That's 9.5 inch ring gear. That's a big ass rear end. SS Trailblazer, y'all. But anyways, somebody did 4 3/4, so 5 volt conversion, 6 to 5. And as you can see, the small 6 that's on here originally, and then all they had to do was get into, I think if they would have moved this over a little bit more, this is set screw hole or whatever, but you could have set this a little bit more over here and you only had to get into one of these holes, so you know, half drilled, whatever. Anyways, that's fine. So we're waiting on a set of bare rotors. So I don't know what the miscommunication is. So the bare rotor, we just need it to be the same center bore and have the 4 3/4, 5x120, whatever, bolt pattern on there. So the owner's still waiting for those, so hopefully, I still got to order a set of axles, this and that, but I wanted to be sure on the length for the axle. It is a C-clip rear end, which is crazy because to make it this big, I mean, that's a big ass rear end. Big ass rear end. Alright, so I got rid of the backing plate, got rid of the e-brake stuff, cut the bracket off because we need all of them in gear. This is the bare brake bracket, which there's no paperwork on it, so how these slides work, how it tightens, I don't know which way it's supposed to go. If I had the rotor, I would know exactly, but I don't have the rotor, so I don't know what the offset is. This offset, when I put the caliper on there, with it this way, I think the caliper was more, the rotor was more to the front of the caliper. I did not have the brake pads in the caliper when I did it. So the bare caliper is so much bigger, so I'm gonna put this down here. So this square is the same, but when you turn it one hole, it puts this all the way down here, which is just too far down. So anyways, we want this to be clocked down here some, so we'll clear all this. Here's the massive, meaning the name is massive. Now he's come with the purple colored. This is the first time I've seen him this black. It's like a matte, like a hammer. But anyway, so double adjustable uppers. You see the boot? Got a boot that's zip tied on there for the hype joint. So this is the plus. I've never seen this before. So it keeps all the debris and all the bullshit out of there, which is good. But you know, I use the hype joints from Church Chassis, and they got the Teflon in there, and I've never had a problem with them. But these boots are pretty nice. So, this shock setup, of course, like I said, the whole shock setup's coming off. The way I got to cut, I'm gonna cut this bracket off. The panhand bar has to be moved back for the coilover to clear. Coilover is basically gonna go right in the spot of where that spring is. So I gotta figure out, I'm gonna put the cross brace across here, or inside here, wherever I'm gonna do it. It's gonna go all the way across. Gotta make sure the rear end clears it. Or I might, they still got a real solid tube structure right here, big ass tube. I could come off the back of this. Yeah, it doesn't need this brace. This brace can go bye-bye. It doesn't need that. Especially with the aftermarket tube that's going here too. We got the massive pan hard bar track locator, whatever you want to call it, that goes in here. So to move this setup back, cut, weld, plate, whatever. But yeah, so the 4.5 inches. So with the sensor, what I'm saying is how I need to clock it, then the sensor is going to be up here. So I'm going to switch. Well, actually, as long as the bolt pattern lines back up to where I want this to be. So like I could turn the end one clock that way and be able to put this on and get it to where I want, and that would actually move the sensor down more. So that way we can leave the sensor. The sensor, it has the piece that presses onto the axle inside there, so when you put the axles in, it moves around inside there behind the bearing. And that's how it reads the speed sensor, the ABS, whatever the fuck. Basically, you should be able to just get in the computer, aftermarket stuff, and delete that shit. What the hell if you need ABS for, you know? Traction control or launch control, or, you know, like if you're making it fast as fuck like that, you know, competition or whatever, I could see having that. But you could still do a drive shaft speed sensor, stuff like that. I don't know. But that's kind of an issue, kind of not, whatever. So my original plan was to move the upper control arms in, but you can't on this side. You can on the passenger side because you don't have the gas tank in the way. This side, you got the gas tank, so you can't do that. These control arms come out and they go on an angle. So it goes from here, close to the frame, and it comes out this way. So I got that room to play with. And then, like I said, taking the 4.5 inches out of here, right behind where the sensor mark is, there's a lid right there. So I cut it there, clean everything off, move, cut the 4.5 inches out, put it over. Then this bracket can go back on, and it can sit a little bit more in so we can clear the frame here. And then everything else will clear that, because the clock and the caliper down, that's going to clear all that. This bracket needs to come off, which this is the original thumb stop bracket. Don't need it, clears it. Moving this setup over. It doesn't have to be, let's see, right now the truck is 21 inches from center to there, rear and hanging. We know the 26 is 32, so 16 is your half mark. It's not going to be able to tuck the whole way, so let's say an inch a gap right there. Drops the number to 15. So was that a 4-inch difference? So this at ride height would be 4 inches from this point to wherever it would be 4-inch difference, or at least the axle. The axle would be 4-inch. So that leaves you, I think this is 7, so it leaves you at 3. It's got plenty of travel at 3 inches. So 1.5 inches up, 1.5 inches down, but you still got another 1.5 inches to play with up here. So this comes into play being close to the frame. So again, I talked to somebody else and they C-notched the area right here to give them a little bit more clearance. But I'm thinking I can split the difference with the upper control arm mount and get, even if it's a tight fit to the back of here, we're good. And this bolt, I wouldn't give a shit about trim the bolt, you know, cut this bolt right to the nut. You know, I could weld the nut onto this before I would take it all apart, so that way I'm just dealing with the bolt side, I'm not dealing with the nut side. I have to put a wrench in there, all that shit. So, This had a cut mark in it, which a rub mark maybe, which there's color marks there. Anyways, this piece right here, I just flexed forward a little bit because there's a metal behind it. I hit it with the hammer right here a couple times, flexed it forward. The wheel's gonna clear that. This wheel is 26’9", 10 overall. I know there's that bluish colored Trailblazer SS in the city, or West Side Auto. West Side. Chris Martinez, Box Chevy Chris. They did that one. And that one actually has a 8-inch lip on it. So I'm pretty sure that wheel is a 26’10", 11 overall. And they actually have that one. You can tell that the wheel is in pretty far on that one. Me, I think I went right with here is where I got my 4.5 inch narrow to here. They might be in a little bit more. So, yeah. Shock bye-bye. Control arm move. The lower control arm is fine, and we have the massive going in there too. All that is fine. Got rid of the stock sway bar on this thing. I had to take the exhaust off of it. It's over there. Excuse me. I had some chili. But yeah, that's a big ass rear end. Alright. So that's that. I'll show more as I do more. I don't want to take it too far apart in the back to where I can't move this thing, because I do have a box Chevy or some adjustments, shit like that coming. Anyways, alright. So the front. Here we have, I got ahead of myself because I didn't film it, but you got a C209 Viking shock, which is a 12-inch shock. The spring is a 12 DP 600, which fits on this shock. Got the coilover brackets. Had to cut that one to fit. I'm using these, you know, how this would be mounted. Which, if you guys remember my Trailblazer, it's lifted, and this is what I did. And I got the 12 and I got the 600 in the front. I got my shit twisted up. I have 2 more holes down here. I think I'm right with the nut, so it's 2 more holes down right with the bolt. So I got plenty of adjustment here. My truck is lifted, so this one right now, this number on the front is 23 inches from there to there. So again, split this, split that. You got the LS in there, you got the turbo, you got all that. I mean, these trucks ain't light. So anyways, that plate right there is 3 by 6. Fits over there. You ain't got to cut nothing out, just grind it. So I use a 3/8, which is fine. There's plenty of backing, and this has got tons of backing back here. This, so it's strong. The 3/16 plate for the bracket. Yeah, 6 inches by 3 inches. Down here, I'm welded exactly how my truck is. This part of the arm is metal. This part is cast. So fully welded down there, pretty thick. Front, back. This side I might go ahead and go into that again, but I got around the backs inside there. I couldn't get totally inside there, but my truck's been together like that for how many years now, and I don't have a problem with that part. I don't have a problem. My rack is on so much of an angle downwards that it eats the tie rods up. It's got bumps to your shit like that. But anyways, and my truck is a straight 6 truck, so I mean that's gotta be, if they still have you know what I'm saying. So and mine's lifted that high, so I've got more than enough adjustment. Basically, what I'm saying right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld that on, get the shock out of here so I don't get no slag on the shock. I didn't weld the plate in there with the shock in here. I welded the plate in there without the shock in here. It wasn't in there. But I did tack the bottom and I tacked the top with the shock in there, but no, it didn't hurt. We do have another set of upper control arms going on here. This turbo setup on here, the big ass turbo going, the piping, how they did it, it's kind of close there. I know everyone's like, why are you gonna pick people's shit apart? But the way the heater hose stuff is, I mean, that's a lot of heat for right here. So I don't know too much about that. The floor, your metal to metal, it's gonna heat the floor up, but you got the insulation and stuff like that in there. So passenger, I don't know, maybe they'll feel a little heat down there on their feet. But my point is, this is the right strut. So you can see, remember I thought before when I was talking about it, I thought that somebody had heated the spring. But this right here, look, just from that turbo, it heated and melted all this shit. So fires and this and that, people's cars burning up, shit like that. Boom. That could have very easily happened. I mean, we have some char. Look, there's some char. So that might have been on fire at one point. Maybe going down the road and the wind put it out. Let me see this. I don't have enough light now. Let's see what's this I got. I think this is just a. I feel that's perfect. I should dry rot it. It might be. That looks like it's heat right there, right? So what the hell would have got? What would have got that hot on this side, yo? I don't see nothing that would have got that hot on that side, but I don't know. So yeah, this, I didn't grind this up yet. I gotta grind it down here. And then, you know, I'll measure centered up, which I centered it pretty good. That plate will go right in there, so grind here, grind. Put that plate in there. But yeah, the BMR, all the control arms. Oh look, a couple pieces of wood in there. I closed off some holes on it. I got the reducer fan turned down a little bit. I'm able to throw a piece of wood or two in there. And right now, in here, 51 on that one, 51.1. I know I'm getting off. The heater is working good. The propane tank is out there. This is saying, we got it set at what, 52, 53? And that's what it's saying it is in here. So that meter over there raises a little bit less. But yeah, I don't know if I showed that. It's dark as shit out. There's some more wood. But yeah, 250 right there. Some more wood right there. I haven't been going through the wood. That tank up there is a 500, but I guess springtime, this company wants to dig a hole or a trench back here, put the big tank back here, and just run the big tank. They don't like having two tanks at properties or some shit. All right. I might be wrong about what the arms are, because look, there's the box. See that? Don't ever quote me 100% on shit. I see why I said BMR, because their style is. So I don't know if these correct any type of. They might correct camber, because you know how these trucks, the upper control arm is fixed position, you know. So. You can see that arm over there, this was angled. So maybe that's what it is. It fixes the camber with the lower, but we're not really gonna be lower. So worst comes to worst, if I put those on and they keep it cambered in too far, I'll just put these back on it and you'll have to figure that out. If that's why they're angled like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can see right here. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it, y'all. But yeah. Got an intercooler. LS 4, I don't know, 427, 4 something. I don't get into all that. Oh, there's the heater behind me gonna kick on. Alright, y'all, let me get some more done and get back to it. back to you. All right, y'all, check it out. I'm a little out of breath because my fat ass was just on the floor, getting up, crawling around, shit like that. But anyways, because I'm a fat ass. First time setting it down in the front with how I set the brackets. I welded it all in, put it down. It's at the same exact spot that I set it at in the air, all the measuring and stuff like that. Like I said, I've done it before. I went out and double checked on my truck. You know, my truck's lifted, but anyways, same shit. I put this bracket down. I think I put it up a hole higher on the truck side than what my truck is. Obviously, my truck's lifted. But this is the first time I set it down to see. I don't even know if I gapped the spring distance the same on each coilover, but I know you guys like that poke. I slid the axle back in there. The left side's still all taken apart. And I slid the caliper bolts back on. Like I said, it needs that 4.5 inches. Like right here, it doesn't even look like that much, but standing here. So on camera, it looks like that ain't shit. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with the 4.5 because this is a 7-inch lip. And it might sit under a little bit more, but then it gives room for later on if somebody wants to put an 8-inch lip on it, or if he wants to upgrade to an 8-inch lip later, or selling feature, you know, I don't know, whatever. So I think 4.5, when I measured it before, it put the lip of the rim like an inch under the truck. So the front, again, that's still with the stock upper control arms, and I know that this control arm on the back side of the bushing was jacked up, you know, with all that heat right there from the turbo. So I think this wheel is a little bit back more on the front. But anyways, not a big deal. I just don't want the front wheel to look like it's poking and the back wheel look like it's sitting way under. Because height-wise, that's the height. Can't go no lower than that because that's wheel well right there. You know, it goes straight across. So that's the clearance that you need. And it's gonna be a pain in the ass to get that with that upper control arm location. But like I said, made a phone call. This one's sitting in more because I pushed the axle back in. The rotor's not on it, so it pushed the axle all the way until it touched the other axle, the puck. The C-clips, the center pin ain't in there, so it's in there more. But it was just so I could set it down to see how the front adjustment is. If I had to cut the stuff back off, you know, I didn't paint it yet because not enough. So I gotta get some paint. But I was setting it down, mocking it up. Yeah, see, this wheel is more centered in the wheel. Look at that. I know you guys are probably like, we can't see shit. Oh, look at that. It's my workbench. See this wheel? This wheel is back more, but that could just be because of that upper control arm bushing. You know, it's pushing the wheel back, in and back. And that's why I think this one looks more cambered. But again, changing that. So I think that wheel is way more cambered for that wheel. Oh yeah, like that's a good camber right there. You know, like I said, the upper control arm is fixed. There's no adjustment unless you get adjustable ones, and I don't even know if they make adjustable ones for it. So I could even just twist it up a little bit right here from this height. I think something else going on with this truck, because anyway, peekaboo. I mean, there's just no way that I wasn't going to show it. Everything that I'm doing and everything that I'm looking at, you know, even if I was told not to show it, it's like it would be an accident showing it, because like this, you can tell me you can't see it from there, and I'm trying to show the wheels. Yeah, I can close the hood, this and that. Ain't got time for all that extra shit. People know what people got anyways. And if they don't, people tell, whatever. But nobody asked me to not show it, you know what I'm saying? All right, let me show you up underneath here what I'm talking about. Now that I caught my breath. Okay. So, you can see previous. You can see how I did the, I had the first weld on the lower, and it was a nice weld. It's just those are arched for a tube. So I filled it in. So then I went ahead and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back over it. It was penetrated, but I'm like, I'm just gonna go back over it. So I went back over it and made it big. I'd rather have a big penetrated weld than, you know, something flexing later on. But see how the brackets on top, that would normally be on the bottom side of the rear end. You can see I have another hole. If I was to go down a hole, that would give me, you know, another ½ inch of height. But if you look at the travel, the shock stroke, I pulled the O-ring down on the shaft. And you can see I pushed the front end up and down a little bit right now. You can see the O-ring is up a little bit. I know you guys are probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? But no, it came out exactly where I marked it all out, or marked it all up, measured it all out. This upper bracket, I think, leans forward a little bit. The one that's on the truck side. So, like, when I'm saying leans, meaning it leans towards the front just a hair. On the other side, leans back, which not a big deal. This side over here. Show you guys this side. Oh, look, I could just go through the damn. Anyways, just so you guys see, same hole, second hole from the bottom where the bracket is, how everything went together. This side probably has just a little bit more gap in the spring to the bracket, unless it's just a shadow. But it's close. Everything's within an 1/8 inch. So you see how I got it twisted up. That's preloading the spring when you put the spring on. So you can still go up from there, and this is a 600-pound spring. So I could probably, because I want the height, another ½ inch of height, I could probably just take the spring up some, and the shock stroke should be fine. And then of course we got the double adjustable, so we can adjust the ride quality right there. The sway bar is on it. If you're ½ inch off, whatever, you know, the sway bar is going to make up a little bit of difference. But everything measured out the exact same in height of how I welded it to the arm, how I welded it to the truck side, the clearances, all that. So happy with that. Like I said, I went ahead and I fully welded it. All that's fully welded. But if I had to cut it off, then I would have to, you know, just cut back through my weld, clean it all up, stuff like that. But I measured 15 times, you know, and cut twice. Get my fat ass up. So yeah. All right, on to the next piece of the puzzle. I think I bruised my left rotator cuff, my shoulder, because it's been killing me. Man, the kid pushed the cutlass around the other day, and it was a pain in the ass. My driveway goes up that little bit out there, and trying to maneuver it right there. And me lifting up these wheels and carrying the wood, and I decided to carry all these damn shocks and everything out the house, down the stairs, all the way out here to the building on my left side, instead of taking it easy. So I've been taking it easy, but I still just lifted these wheels up on here, but I use more of my right than my left. Oh, there I go again, guys. I'm complaining. Complaining. And I tell you what, the wood burner working excellent. That gauge, I don't know, I'm gonna keep showing you guys that one says 53 in here. The one on the side, you know, the furnace is not running right now. What's this one say? You had to set it, what, 50, 54, 52, 53 right there. So they're both reading the exact same right now. The wood burner, a little bit of smoke today. I turned the inducer fan down a little bit, but I had a lot more wood in there today. So it did get really hot. So maybe I'm smelling a little bit of the wood or smoke, and it just got hot again. Guys are like, what the hell is that? those scrap pieces, whatever, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna put them out there. They'll be able to heat up, and as the wind goes through there, it'll heat up more. I know somebody was saying to put it up higher. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't care. It works right now. I can get my fat ass out here and get to work. That's the biggest thing. I mean, I get to moving around anyways, and you know, I got my sleeves on. I got 2 shirts on, so I got insulated pants. Dirty as shit from crawling on the floor. But it's fine. It's good in here. What was it the other day? It was like 9 degrees or something outside, and I had it at 45, almost 50 in here, and it was fine. So, but all right, guys, yeah, that, see what I'm saying about that distance? This side is back more, and you can totally see it. So I'm hoping it's that upper. I don't know if this truck's been, well, it's crazy to say I don't know if it's been wrecked. You guys can see the 2 different silvers. The fender's a different silver, which my truck is a 2008. It's a silver, but mine's it's one of 3 silvers that GM made in my year, 2008. I don't know what this one is. And mine's the only one that's got the bronze in it. So paint code, this, that, whatever. Maybe this body that doesn't have the bronze in it, maybe that does have the bronze in it. I don't know. Or whoever mixed it or whoever shot it. Whatever. I see shit like that. I know everybody was like, man, I don't even see that. But yeah. I gotta make a lot of cuts to the back, to the rear end. That's why I wanted to get the front totally set first. Like I said, I know that's my height in the back, so I'll do some measurements and I gotta look up underneath the back when it's on the ground right now and see, you know what, let's go back there. Might as well, right? Might as well. I don't have the light. Okay, so we can see height-wise that spring. The front coilover is a 12-inch, so it's a C209. The back I have C217s, which are a 10-inch, which are made for more lowrider, like lower trucks and shit like that. So obviously this is lowered, so we want it to sit here so I can take my measurement from center hole to center hole on the shocks, and you know the bracket won't be well into the rear end and be down, so it should line up exactly where I want it with the 10. And then the springs that I have for the back, I went with the 300, so it should work in the back. I know that spring right there, they got the tie downs, whatever you want to call those things, the spring compressors in there to bring it down, but that coil is pretty thick of a coil. So worst comes to worst, we'd have to change the back spring rate to you know, probably put like a, see if we can get a 500 or a 400, but I think the 300 should work just fine. Turn it up a little more to keep the shock stroke. It should work. But yeah, see what I was saying about the wheel. So 4.5 inches in more. I mean, it's not even gonna really come close to the shock, so then I split the difference with the upper control arm mount, narrow, and put it closer to the frame, and then probably have to do a little C-notch to it before the clearance of that upper control arm, depending on, because like I said, the height of it, I can shorten it 1 inch. So when I cut it off there, I can take 1 inch out of it, or you know, cut it straight off, then curve it to fit back on there, and put the double adjustable arm on it, and then I can adjust the arm to where I want, and I keep the pinion angle set where I want and all that, which looks like it's got a little bit of a positive pinion right now, which is probably fine because the motor and everything sits higher. Hand hard bar, like we were saying, that has to come back so that way you get room for the coilover on that side. But yeah, All right, I'm gonna take some pictures of underneath here, do some other stuff underneath here. I mean, there's no way I could be too far off with what I'm doing, so I've done it plenty of times. I just haven't done it. A Trailblazer. Except for my shit's all lifted. All right, y'all. Got that up. And then as for wheel well, you know, you've seen the side's gone. The floor on this side, see the floor kicks out. Probably gonna have to love tap the shit out that with a little bit of hammer power, you know what I'm saying? But I'll get the upper control arms on there first. You know, these things don't turn like old schools. These things swivel when they turn, so they tuck in and out. So we'll find out. All right, y'all, let it up. I'll be back. All right. Check it out. Change that right upper control arm, stock one. That one's for the left side. But I wanted to change this side first and set it back down to see what was going on, because that wheel was pushed back. Now it's centered up in there. Before it was way back. I was like, what the hell? And like I was saying, from the turbo piping and the heat to here, or I mean, this is probably original, you know, original. So I thought that was throwing it off a little bit, which that would basically camber it, you know, it would camber it in a little bit, lay it in, and move it back just a hair, but not that much. So changed it, set it down, and the wheel was still back there, and it was turned way out. So these trucks, the toe in, toe out alignment obviously is with the rack and the tie rods. Then you have the fixed, the upper has no adjustment to it at all. The lower, there's 3 bolts, 2 in the back, 1 in the front, and you loosen them up and then you can pull the arm in and out. So then, you know, you can, all the positions, in, out, angle it, forward, backwards, everything. So I was able to loosen it up in the air, move it out to where I thought it should be, and I snugged it back up. Sure as shit, set it down. The toe, you know, was way out. I put the steering wheel straight just to see where it would be, but when I put it down, it towed it way out over here. So I went in there to turn the steering wheel back straight, and the steering wheel was fighting me, so it had more pressure to it. So I adjusted the tie rod on here longer, because you know the rack is in the back. Adjusted that longer, which towed the front end, you know, squared it up. And then I went in there to the steering wheel, and the steering wheel is in the center now. And when I turn it, it's not fighting me. It's not trying to push back. So the driver's side, so this side I'm thinking is, I mean, damn close. This side, that camber is more camber negative than the passenger side. But I notice with these arms, let's see if I can get this one to do it. Basic idea, okay? The holes are somewhat, so what we're looking for is distance. So if you look at the ball joint location, I mean, obviously this is the left arm and the right arm, but the distance outwards, see that? So these arms are JDM, and they're made for lowered Trailblazers. So of course, if this thing was the stock height, and you put the 26 on there, it would be sitting up in there. So putting that wheel on there, lowered it down. The truck is at a lowered stance, needs to be at a lowered stance. With doing all that, I haven't adjusted the spring height yet, but that's the height right there. It pushes down and up easy as hell right now because compression rebound is at 0. So it's going to be a plus by adjusting that to get it, you know, it shouldn't end up hitting. This is a good gas, you know. I guess because there's no inners, I can trim this out, but I mean, I don't think it's gonna hit it. I really don't think so. Compression rebound. Even me bouncing right now, pushing it up and down, it doesn't even hit. And then let's see. You can see the upper control arm, see how high it's up? And the hammer right had a crack in it, but I hit it a couple times, the coating, and it came off like absolute nothing. Got in my fingers, but anyways, I'll put some paint on it. I'll clean it up, put some paint on it. But what I'm showing is, up here, there's actually a gap in between there, you can see from the bottom, but I don't think that'll touch there either, but I'll grind just a little bit of the spindle. But from downwards up and up, looking up, you can see that it's got way more clearance than what it looks like now. So what I'm saying is, look at the ball joint. So these arms were made for lowered, and then it straightened the ball joint back up. Because with the stock arm on there, and it lowered like this, or all the way down, that was on a nasty ass angle. So it was putting a lot of pressure on that ball joint, which now will leave the pressure. But I mean, look, that arm is still pretty high up. But it's all good. It works right there. It travels right there. So it should be good right there. Oh man, I'll tell you. Here's that complaining segment. I got somebody texting the shit out of me, talking shit about this, about that, blah, blah, telling me fuck you, call me a fat fuck, this and that, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm a fat fuck, but guess what? I'm one motherfucker trying to do all this shit. Talking about I don't work. I work every motherfucking day. Yeah, some days might only be fucking 4 hours, but there's plenty of days I'm in this bitch 8 hours. Yeah, it doesn't look like I get much done in this time and that time, but Jesus Christ, man, I got a lot of shit going on. So, suck a dick. I don't give a fuck. Whatever, it is what it is. I can't get to you, I can't get to you. Man, you see me posting pics and posting this and that about vehicles I've done in the past. You know, I'll make a couple dollars off of Facebook. Posting pics and comments and reactions and all that shit. So I'm getting money any which way I can. It might be little bits, but guess what? Little bits add up. All right, so see the camera on this side? You guys can see it right there. That bitch is laid in. And this control arm doesn't show, this is stock one, doesn't show that much wear, but it is the same arm. So I don't know how many miles are originally on this truck, but most likely they are the original arms. My truck is an 08, and look at that. So that one, it's in a little bit, but it's also turned out just a little bit. But a little bit of camber is excellent for, you know, lowered or whatever, for gripping. And like I said before, sometimes in the rear, because you know the rear end is a solid axle, well this is a solid axle. When the back wheel is straight up and down, maybe it's just, you know, G-body, Spock, Chevy, shit like that, and you set the front perfectly straight up and down, but the back, the axle tubes get bent, so they're up a little bit. Sometimes it just gives the illusion, if you're perfectly straight up and down in the front, when you look at the side of the vehicle, it almost looks like the front wheel is out at the top. So a little bit of camber is good. So this truck, when I'm done with it, what I'm saying is, to get the steering wheel dead on with the rack, he might have to take it to an alignment shop with the lasers and set it all up like that. So now that comes into play, alignment this and that, with places that if they can't do it for 26's. I don't know if everybody, Firestones and shit like that back in the day were like the first ones when you could take them with big wheels and get them aligned. I know they got different styles of how the lasers go on there and how they grip. Some grip inside the rim, some grip on the fucking outside of the tire. But I don't think it's gonna have a problem going down the road. I don't think it's gonna pull. I think it's gonna have, it should have some good turning. So what I'm gonna look at in the front, before I was worried because of the turning in that floor, that's floorboard right there, you know, inside the truck. So like I said, I can hammer it in some, but I'm gonna test it first, turn the wheel, and see if it hits there. There. So front has kind of been a pain in the ass. That ball joint did not want to go inside that arm, and that hammer right, whatever you want to call that coating that's on there. It's not a powder coat because there's no way powder coat would chip off that easy. whatever that coating is, it's inside the ball joint hole. So I had to run a drill, a 5/8 drill bit through the hole. I had to polish up the ball joint shaft, and then I put a little bit of lube on there. And I ended up having to get the suspension up in order to get the 2 bolts back in. It was a pain in the ass. It was actually a pain in the ass. But all right, y'all. Axles for the back, still haven't got the exact. Like I said, it's offset axles, like a 9-inch. The left axle shorter than the right axle, or vice versa, whichever way that is. And I got to write all that shit down and be 100% on how many inches exactly I want to go. 4.5. I'm pretty sure that the wheel will sit under a little bit to where it can go up to 8-inch lips. So I'm thinking about the future. Or maybe I just leave it and put it right where I want it, flush with the quarter. Like I said, that's the height in the back. There ain't no tucking unless you're tubbing it and this and that and frame notching, and I mean, that's a lot of work. But all right, y'all, let me get back to it. I know y'all still loving this, loving that poke. Anyways, front of the truck is all done. Alignment, coilovers, brackets are all painted. Upper control arms are changed. Coilovers are set, compression and rebound. So, we are waiting on the axles from the back. And it'll be getting that narrow. Chop, chop. Bet that up.